Well, I told you yesterday that as Kamala Harris was speaking, laying out some of her economic proposals, speaking about the horrible shooting that took place at a school in Georgia, Donald Trump was wildly posting to Truth Social, and I told you we would look at it today. I want to do that now. I can't even put into words the degree to which Trump is whiny and triggered in every single one of these videos. Trump, who has done essentially nothing but complaining about how everyone has treated him so unfairly, and he's so great, and everyone's so bad, and she's a communist, and he's a Marxist, and it's going to be 1929 all over again. Trump is now saying that it's Kamala Harris that's constantly complaining. Take a listen to this.
Comrade Kamala Harris does nothing but complain, always complaining about this or that. But she's in the administration now. Why doesn't she do something? She does nothing but talk, nothing but gripe, nothing but complain about the terrible border or the economy and inflation. But she's been there for 3.5 years. So why doesn't she fix it?
Now, of course, vice presidents famously don't make policy, and it's completely legitimate for Kamala Harris to be pointing out, hey, there's a gap. Here's where we are. Here's where I would want us to be. Here's how I propose closing that gap. There's nothing wrong with that. But the real irony is the whiniest man on the planet, Donald Trump, saying that it's Kamala Harris that's whining and complaining all the time. Now, it doesn't just stop here. Trump decided in these just video after video after video, mass furiously posting, recording, tweeting, trothing. Trump saying, despite the booming stock market that we've seen under the Biden administration, that if Kamala Harris becomes president, there will be a massive stock market crash, which you might remember is the same prediction he made before Joe Biden became president.
Trump cash versus Kamala crash.
Kamala.
We're going to have a crash like 1929 if she gets in. It will not be pretty.
Trump stood around screaming at a camera for a dozen videos, and this is the best that he can do. The 1929 crash I predicted 4 years ago that never happened. Well, this time I'm going to be right. Now, Goldman Sachs is saying very much the opposite. And we talked about this on the bonus show a couple of days ago. Whether you like Goldman Sachs or you don't like Goldman Sachs has an interest in evaluating what are the economic indicators that we believe are important and making predictions for their customers. They make money by being right about this stuff. And it doesn't take a genius. You don't need a team of 100 economists to figure out that in general, stock market performance is better under Democratic presidents. Unemployment is lower. Job creation is higher. GDP growth is greater. Inflation is lower. I could go on under Democratic presidents. And very much contrary to what Donald Trump is saying, Goldman Sachs is saying, actually, we think we would be better off with a Harris presidency than with a Trump presidency as far as the economy goes. Remember that Trump's been issuing the same statement. We will see a crash, the likes of which we haven't seen since 1929. Trump made that statement in 2020. He made it in 2021. He made it in 2022. He made it in 2023. And so far, he's always been wrong. Now, I do think it's important to mention that there are certain predictions you can just make every year, and you'll probably eventually be right. And what I mean by that is, unless something at a structural level changes about how our economy works, we have booms and busts. We have ups and downs. There are people who have been predicting a recession for 10 years, 10, 11 years. They've been wrong so far. But at a certain point, they could be right. The question is, does that really make their predictions valuable? Because if you had followed them since 2014, you would have missed out on some of the greatest stock market growth in a really long time in the United States. So the fact that you make the same prediction every year and you might eventually be right still doesn't mean that you're someone that we should be listening to. So a bunch of these videos, as Trump was wildly triggered while Kamala Harris was speaking. I want to talk a little bit about Tim Walz, and then I'll tell you a little more of what Trump's been up to. Tim Walz is really, really good at doing politics. You might recall that J.D. Vance recently had a horrible experience attempting to order donuts at a donut shop and pretending that he's a normal person. Well, Governor Tim Walz, he's so fun. He's so good at this. Tim Walz went to a donut shop as well. And he actually mentions, just as an aside, look at me, I have no problem picking out donuts. A direct shot across the bow at J.D. Vance.
And then maybe peanut butter.
The peanut butter original. There's a big popularity.
We're a big fan of pumpkin.
We're
in this
pumpkin.
family.
Yeah, big
We're
fan of
pumpkin
pumpkin.
people.
All right.
All right, I think that's what we're going to do.
I think get that one and that one maybe.
All right.
Peaches are really good here, too.
Peaches too. That's what I said.
Yes.
The peaches.
I could balance it out to have a nutritional diet. I said, look at me, I have no problem picking out donuts and things. So
It's just so subtle. It's so subtle, but so obvious what he's pointing to. And it's the fact that J.D. Vance, he can't even pick out donuts in a normal way. Let me remind you, this was a couple weeks ago, J.D. Vance having an interaction with some donut shop workers in Georgia, one of whom was very unimpressed that he's running for vice president, another who just didn't even want anything to do with J.D. Vance.
The zoo has come to town. Thank you for letting us come in here.
Yes, sir.
I'm sorry, man? Okay, yeah. She doesn't want to be on film, guys, so just cut her out of anything. Appreciate that, man. I'm JD Vance. I'm running for vice president. Good to see you.
Okay.
How long are you working?
I've been here since the beginning of July
Okay.
for this year.
Okay, good. How about you, sir?
Almost 2 years.
Just dripping in charisma.
Good. Just everything. Yeah, I mean, a lot of glazed here, some sprinkle stuff, some of these cinnamon rolls, just whatever makes sense. Always this place around.
I would like whatever makes sense. How long has this establishment been functioning? Were the walls made of ply? It's painful. It's painful. How long have these light bulbs been here? Have you completed the transition to LED bulbs? And Tim Walz continuing to be very personable. This is not why we vote for people. We vote for people because we look at the policy and we look at the vision and we look at the respect for the rule of law and institutions. But when they also just happen to be kind of nice, normal people that relate to others in a way that we consider to be, what we would expect of others, it certainly helps to make the case that we're making the right decision in how we vote. If you're still using a free email service, your emails are often being scanned and tracked even after you delete them. Companies use the data to know everything about you and show you ads, even your most personal communications. That's why I recommend you check out StartMail. Unlike free email services, our sponsor StartMail never scans or tracks your emails. It also blocks tracking pixels, which companies and hackers use to capture your IP address. And when you delete an email in StartMail, it is gone forever, keeping your information private. StartMail allows you to create unlimited email aliases, protecting your identity and reducing spam. This lets you use different email addresses for different purposes, like newsletters or shopping. Plus, StartMail lets you encrypt every email, even if the recipient doesn't use encryption. Switching is easy. You can migrate all your existing emails and contacts with just a few clicks. StartMail also offers a business plan with unlimited domains, advanced phishing protection, and shared aliases for seamless team collaboration. Go to startmail.com/Pacman to get 50% off your first year. That's about $2 a month for a personal plan or about $3 a month for a business plan. Plus, get 25% off additional accounts for team members. The link is in the description.